Alright, I did one part on it. I'm gonna make a second one because the main part I did not even address in this Pedophilia, Epstein issue. I did not even mention one. I just did right now. I wrote it right here. It's actually nowhere even properly mentioned anywhere, is it? What is this mess here? This is a fucking mess. I address her as a soulmate right here. Let's do it like this. This is what I did not publish. I need to publish this. Very, very important. You're gonna see me also talking to you on the camera about this. I will testify this on camera. This is very, very, very important. Officially, look at me on the camera like this. This is what you're watching. Yeah. Sorry. This is what you're watching. You're watching. Let's do this stuff live like this, so that you can see what you did to me. You're watching 15,000 continuation of 15,000 pages related to 9/11, to MK Ultra, which commenced in 1972. Testimony written on 15,000 pages that your Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, your Department of whatever, Wars, Pentagon, FBI suspended for public no longer to have access to. That's what you're watching. This is not the property of the CIA, of FBI. This is my property. And I am not property of the CIA or FBI. That's what you're watching. I'm very angry right now. That's what you're watching. You're watching this thing I did not mention in part number 1. She supposedly became a darling of Prince Haakon at a university when he studied. He had me at his university, she had me at her university. But there was a story that pertained to both of these two before the two officially became a couple. Okay, there was Norwegian teenage girls for whom I suspect she also was one of them. I suspect, but I'm not definitely certain. I know for sure, for de facto, that she met Epstein in 1987, and in 1987 she is age 52, I am age 54. And in 1987 she was a teenage girl. And it might have been even in 1986. Epstein already handled Norwegian teenage girls, something that I did not state it in the part number 1 when I published this video here. Yes, let that be part number 1. This was in my presence. These are really beautiful girls, fantastic everything, and she just happened so that she found herself in that company too. Not very often, but I saw her. However, there was a bunch of other Norwegian girls, which goes to tell me that there were girls of age 13 and 14, Norwegian girls, heavily involved in pedophilia. This is the stuff I did not witness about. Well, this is the stuff That's what I'm here for, so that I can correct for you, so that we can upgrade this, ante up a little bit. So what happened? Well, Prince Haakon, who had me at his university, he was doing his studies. He was very busy with the studying. This is at least what he wanted to make impression about. Was also not so busy with the studying. He was and he was not. He was very serious and he was not so very serious. He knew, in other words, exactly what he was doing. What he was doing is he was creating his own profile. This is like a software, like you would program computer, basically. This is how they were doing with me, basically for B2C, whatever the fuck they wanted me to see. So the two with the Marit got together, probably got to know each other. There were parties, college parties, university parties and stuff like this. They got to know each other with Haakon already in 1988. I would say the two already got to know each other. Now go and calculate and learn about what their age is, because I think both of them were still teenage when the two got to know each other already, and do some hanky-panky. So the stuff that I said, that I don't have the proofs about the Norwegian pedophilia, is wrong. In fact, I do know. I did testify. I was age of 14 in 1986, testified repeatedly to, not in 1984, but I repeatedly testified to the pedophilia since 1982, I would say. And that I was age 12. And that was that kind of stuff. Underage girls, yes, Norwegian girls. This was Norway with literally. I don't understand. I don't understand. I am trying to figure out this stuff, because the pedophilia, in which Bill Clinton directly was involved in it, was ran in upstates like areas like, I got an impression like a Baltimore, Philadelphia area up north, and also in Norway. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you exactly where this stuff was ran, so that I can give you an idea about what precisely went on with these people. There's not going to be any mistakes. I think they got very mistaken, very confused. She was on the brink of losing her life, that kind of stuff, and then they came to conclusion that I don't remember anything, and then she just started to live longer, which is a good thing for me. Welcome back, Princess Mette Marit. Very nice. But Bill Clinton ran pedophilia out of. You see, here is the Washington. This is a Philadelphia. This was ran out of like Norfolk, Richmond, area, Washington, Philadelphia area. This is where we would have a clientele from the Europe coming. And yes, then I also found myself with the same people, with Americans and stuff. Is what King Harald of Norway, Cinque, King Harald Cinco, 5, numero 5, organized pedophilia also for American politicians, and I bet other politicians also in Norway. So they got a little bit Norwegian meat to taste. Pedophilia in Norway, pedophilia in Norway, you're going to have to ask Mr. Bill Clinton about it, because it was really for a studs like Bill Clinton organized. But yeah, of course, also Epstein was like a wolf that appeared also, they also allowed. But this was basically organized for American Aryan man, for the Nordic race, for the Nordic folk. Fuki Foki. I really enjoy doing this video. I really enjoy it. I saw Mette, Marit in definitely I saw her in 97. These are really blonde girls, just like Mette and Marit, blonde girls. The Norwegian had really real blonde girls. They were definitely the best looking blondes. There is absolutely no doubt about it. A huge difference, really. But what I told you about is this was a hooker house, talking about the Norfolk, Richmond, Washington area, Philadelphia area. This was purely done. It was no Russians over there. It was no folks from Eastern Europe over there. This was strictly club for the Nordic, for the Nordid, pedo club, for the Germans, for the Swedish, for the Norwegians, Danish, British Royals. This was like the highest, like top deluxe club. Yeah, this was run by the Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is actually predecessor of Epstein. You need to explain the whole fucking thing to what you have going on about the Epstein, because I just happened so that I was in that exclusive club, having the opportunity to witness this truly Nordic, majestic, and hookers and gentlemen and underage girls. It was truly du luxus classe. It was not for everybody. You had to be 100% Aryan actually to be inside of that club. This was just exclusive. You ask a little bit, Mr. Gingrich, you ask a little bit, this American, there's a whole bunch of them I can point you out. Upper class folks that it would even make Epstein like not really member of that club. That was like strictly Aryan. Strictly Aryan. Yes, we had this kind of stuff going on. Yes. This was a predecessor of Herr Epstein business. Then it became Epstein because the circle increased. The Soviets, I should say, the Ruskies jump on board. All this Polacks, all this stuff started to jump on the board, and we couldn't afford anymore the exclusive Aryan club. No, I never got any, but this was fukarai. This was just a simply fuck business. This is like you would go and you would get underage girls, the freshest, to fuck with. They did not even take grown-up ladies in there. This is the way they had this stuff organized. This is the way this stuff was organized. This have fallen apart quite soon, though. However, it was involved since my earliest childhood. And so, Mr. Norwegian King Harald V, since I was compelled into this, and I really started to enjoy, he gestured that this is just to return the favor and shit. And that return the favors stuff started sometimes like in 1982, I would say. I remember in 1982. Did they have this stuff, that stuff already going on for much longer? Yes. Yes, they did. They did. There was nothing new, really. They did. And it was completely underage girls. Totally underage girls. It seems like this Nordid specimen were really into underage girls. And I had, until right now, thanks to Marit, did not foresee any of this stuff. I never was interested even in actually seeing this kind of stuff. But since you guys truly know how to stimulate, we can boogie. We can also do this. We can also go into time in 1982, in 1986, in 1985, in 1984. Those schoolgirls, I remember, they stormed inside, and it was fuck. It was fuck. They had some kind of house they were doing this in. They had some kind of, and then they have also like really like an upscale, very classic club, it looked like. And they had quite a few locations. Okay, so that was for the Canadian American, like British, Le Breton, Swedish, Norwegian, fucky fuck business, Danish stuff, kind of stuff. Truly, purely Nordic. You couldn't, of a mixed race, you couldn't even be. Epstein was completely lost over there. Epstein became involved in this. When Epstein became involved in this, Epstein was actually even intimidated. Epstein was like, how can I say? Epstein was like a schoolboy. He was like, not even I was as intimidated, this Aryan views. This was like Klux Klan and open, like Canada was enormously Canadian, also on a Canadian side, this stuff went on. This is royal stuff. This is, to put it the proper way, was almost make me feel like this shit was ran by Canadians, really. It was like, men were like really Nordic, white Canadian, like pure. Whites, Norwegian, Swedish, Dutch, Danish. You have not fucking could possibly imagine anything like this. You have not fucking seen a craziest fucking movie so fucking crazy. If I'm telling you that Epstein was actually intimidated, the Epstein was actually a fucking schoolboy. This was the school for the Epstein. The teacher of the Epstein was a Bill Clinton, Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill knows a whole lot about the shit that went on. Maybe he wants to tell more to the world about the stuff that went on. This is how the Epstein Club was actually even formed, born. Mette was in the picture for sure in 1987, in 1986. She intimidated me even. She would have me at her classes and stuff, and was like my soulmate, like a pal, and was like that this is gonna be my wife, is gonna marry me, and this and that, and was at the same time begging me to please not say even the year. If you will say this year, I'm gonna be in trouble. It's gonna be, they're gonna put me in the same company with this and that and so on, and I'm not gonna be able to help you. We had all this kind of stuff going on. Well, you should have never put me inside a psychiatric hospital in 2012, I'm telling you. I am going to spit absolutely everything about. I am actually here to do the stuff that I'm not going to say I never contemplated on. I never would have even thought about it. I would go as far. But I'm going to chop your heads off. That's it. You did what you never should have even think about it, and you're going to pay for it. I will reveal absolutely everything about you. You are exactly as I stated in part number 1. You are scum. And it's not the FBI and CIA would not know anything about it. Man, they were fucking guarding. They were dogs. They had their own people participate in this shit. What do you think, the FBI and CIA executives? What do you think? Who do you think was on those parties? Who do you think attended those parties? So get fucking honest with the people and explain who created the Epstein, how the Epstein got on the picture. Tell about Epstein in 1982 when he was still like a schoolboy, timid boy, but he was learning and he really, really, really liked this Aryan shit. I can actually say that Epstein was pimped into world of whoring literally by Norwegians, by American Aryans, and by the Canadian Aryans, basically by the Danes, by the Swedes, and by the British. And just like myself, of course I'm much younger than Epstein, he loved it so much that he became literally addicted to it. In other words, Epstein is a victim of the Aryan fuckery. Epstein was like the best client. Epstein with the Bill Clinton would be visiting this Aryan club, exclusive Amero-Canadian, Scandinavian club, German club, Dutch club, already since like a very nice guy. Probably since like 1978, something like this, 1978. And like in 1982, Epstein truly became motivated in creating his own club, and he became apprentice of the Bill Clinton, of these Aryans that ran this shit. They started to train him, and Epstein finally came out as accredited, as certified pimp, provider of this meat catering service, prostitution, sometimes in 1986. So you want to fuck with me? You already pull now a very, very short one. So when America, the world, is going to find out about your exclusive Aryan club, or who created Epstein, and it did not started in 1978, this shit with this Aryan stuff. I just wrote a letter to one of the girls who was involved in this stuff, who also, by the way, would you believe this, happens to have some Norwegian background, origin, yeah? And I wrote in an email, said, you know, the Clint Eastwood is a movie which was created in 1973 when I was just 2 years old. Oh, they had me participate in that movie, watch actors and stuff. Crazy, I know. And after the movie was completed with a Clint Eastwood, that place, that village, it still stay there. They would still deliver me to that village, and they still would do scenes, and they would play the movie and reminded of the movie, and have me meet with the actors that participated in that movie, of which main one was Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, you see, it just happened so, also was one of my soulmates when I was practically a baby. Yes. And there is a scene in that movie, whatever the fuck it is, in 1973. It came out in 1973 with Clint Eastwood, when he goes and he grabs the lady and just dumps her on, I don't know how you say that in English, but it's like in a barn, but I don't know what is the, you know, the dried grass. I mean, you know, he just dumps her over there, just opens her ribs apart, and she just go and, you know, does his thing. Lady resisted at first, and then she embraced him, and, you know, it just happened so that the next thing that happens is, I have teachers like, would you believe this, Richard Nixon, and even Clint Eastwood himself teaching me about how I should just go out there and fuck, girls. Just grab her and boom. I was just age 6. I was just age 6, 7. I barely entered the school, the grammar school, and they started to teach me that I should just grab some girl here and there and fuck her. And well, I was so old that, meaning young, that I remember when I first learned about that I have a penis. Well, to be honest with you, it was earlier than when I entered the school. It must have been sometimes even like in 1976. Shit. 1976, maybe even 1975. I must have been like just 4 years of age, maybe something like this, when I actually learned that I have a penis. I mean, not in a sense that I have a penis, like to pee, but that thing is actually, I kind of learned what that actually is also used for. This is the way it is. And so they did not stop encouraging me with this shit. And well, sometimes when I was like they keep encouraging me with this in a first grade, in a second grade, in a third grade, and they keep asking me if I already fucked some girl. And they pointed my classmates, and during MK Ultra, they would also demonstrate me having, wow, such a beautiful ladies that would at times even engage in sex with somebody, and they would be willing to even accommodate me. Oh boy, did I feel privileged about that stuff. But just somehow I was not reacting fast enough. In other words, they would make you, they would get you going, like basically, like, you know, you have a penis, basically. It's like saying to somebody, hello, good day to you. And once during MK Ultra, once I would realize that I have one, it would just, subject change to that it's not coming to me fast enough and that I'm just retarded and stuff like this, that this should be natural, that this should be very fast. When they say this, and they would also show me some girl that I should just throw myself on a girl and do it. We had this kind of stuff going on. You know, Clint Eastwood later on, he was joking. He said, boy, we just wanted you to know that you have a penis. That's all there is. But this was no joke because the Slovenian side who was participating in this shit, oh yeah, they were presenting me with really beautiful girls and everything, but the Slovenian side who was picking up all these signals, what they wanted, what they counted on once it was the 6th grade of the grammar school and 7th grade of the grammar school, when they, you know, when you started to have hormones going crazy and stuff, they started to incite during MK Ultra into a real rape. And what they were gonna do is they were gonna turn me into a rapist. I declined to get into. No, really. I mean, I gotta be honest about that stuff. Once I learned that the penis exists, I literally started to express, of course, more and more interest in it. Every time, as I stated earlier, it didn't came to me fast, it was coming to me faster and faster during MK Ultra, what that means. was it? In 4th grade of the grammar school, was it 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, about 5th and 6th grade of the grammar school, Americans realized that I'm going to get in trouble, and they started to give me a lesson and said, boy, you are in a 4th grade, you can't do that stuff anymore. You don't understand that. This is Richard Nixon, was a funny guy, man, and Reagan, two childish people, extremely stupid in certain ways. Childish. They so enjoyed me, man. They had so much fun having me around. Maybe they were not such a bad people. I would love to think about people that they were not bad people, but you know, look how far this stuff have gone through, you know. And they did bad stuff afterwards anyways. You know, everything they were doing is they simply ruined, you know, pointing at me that I was the one who, you know, was behind everything and stuff, you know. This is just, I'm not taking it personally, but, you know, in a way I am taking it personally. I am taking it personally. Fuck this. There's no reason for what happened. And they told me if now you will do this, we shouldn't be teaching you this shit, which is a swinery, because you know what they told me. This was at British Royals. Just fuck the girl and don't worry about it. Just impregnate them. And they told me this like when I was just like child, really. 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, you know. 1st grade, 2nd grade of grammar school, 3rd grade of the grammar school. And then they started to say, the expiration period is coming. And I said, what do you mean by this, the expiration period is coming? I didn't even get any to fuck yet. Anyway, I really wanted to fuck the girl more and more. You know, they were teasing me with this shit. And I was so fucking willing to, you know, we had this physical fights and shit, and all of a sudden they stopped, and I said, why the fuck you stop with this crap? I want to fight, literally. And they said, no, you know, that other stuff. I said, what the fuck? What kind of stuff? I was completely wild, man. I was a totally wild child. And they said, you know, now the girls. Now it's the girls. Ooh. And I immediately forgot about having physical fights, which I kind of love it during MK Ultra. Yeah, I became addicted to wrestling and shit. And there was always somebody to get even with. This is how crazy this shit was. And they said, oh, it's girls. I remember Prince Andrew saying to me, and Edward and Charlie, they were saying to me, you're fucking stupid, because we told you already when we mentioned the girls. This was the 2nd grade of the grammar school in 1978. They told me, when we tell you the girls, they told me you're retarded. And I said, why the fuck am I retarded? The Queen told me I'm retarded. The Queen insisted that when it's about the girls, that you should be just switching like this, and like a hunting dog, just go after the girls. Well, this is the score they gave me, boy. This is how they were training me. And then they said that I was retarded because it did not come to me when they mentioned girls. Just like this, in 1978. Just like this. This is the way this stuff was. And so, well, they were preparing me with what they believe is I'm going to go and really rape some girl. And so in when I was in my 5th grade of the grammar school, I don't know what year was it, 1982, 4, 5, 6, whatever, 1982 maybe, Bill Clinton Clint Eastwood came back on the picture and said, all the shit that I teach you about how you go and you just grab, and this is what they were teaching me, and Nixon and so on, and Reagan, did you just go? I said, you guys, your wives, did you all fuck your wives like that? Because they told me we do it. It was like a normal thing. I said, normal thing. I said, are you sure normal thing? And they were so laughing about, and they said, what do you think our wives and stuff? I said, really? I said, really? I said, so it's a normal thing. Well, yeah, in that sense. And then in when I was like in a fourth grade of the grammar school, yeah, which was like in 1982. 1983 was fifth grade of grammar school. And so they told me the expiration period came. It's finished. It's finished. I said, what do you mean it's finished? You know, right after I started to notice more and more my penis, I started really to get to wear my penis, and I started to get comfortable with the penis. The fifth grade and the sixth grade, you know, I was really ready to jump on some girl and do business, you know. This is the way it was, exactly. They told me, you are past expiration period. We told you. You don't get in trouble if you fuck a girl when you are 6, 7, and 8 and 9 years old, you know. But forget about when you are in a fourth grade at the grammar school, when you are 10 years old, you can be already in a trouble. And so now if you do it, there is a criminal law and stuff, and they can put you in a jail and stuff like this. There is a law. And Clint Eastwood gave me a lesson. He continued where he started about how you go and you grab just the girl and you just throw her and you just do it. He said, listen to her. She said rape. She said rape. And this was all in that movie, 1973. I just watched the other day this movie a little bit. I don't watch the whole movie, just little scenes to remind myself of. It's just by the lake, a western movie, a cowboy movie. And you do understand how beautifully I explained to you this. Exactly the way it was, you know. And there you have. There is the Slovenian side that takes from there. This was in my 6th grade. And they started to incite in it, knowing that when you are in the 6th grade and 7th grade, after they protected themselves, right? Americans developed this shit. We're going to need the most beautiful girls. And they were, sure they were beautiful. Then all of a sudden, when you start to become aware of the penis, that, you know, that time before it comes to you, what you need to do with a girl, it comes to you like this. This is when they told me you're going to get in trouble. And in Slovenian side, they already tried to fuck me, set me up. Then I heard this fucking Americans saying, they're all fucking crazy. They're all sick. This is when I was in the 8th grade of grammar school. As they communicated with the Golop, with the Kuchan, with the Slovenian side, Pahor and stuff like this, but Americans were giving them expertise, their point of view, their views. They view me like an animal. It finally became evident to me. And when he spoke to the Slovenian side, he said, they are all. He said, what do you mean that he didn't do this to a girl yet? It's because you're not doing your job, pointing at the Slovenian side. They, this is me, animal. You understand me what I'm saying? The MK Ultra subjects are seen like animals. He said we already had, we don't know how many, and we did this to them and they all failed. They all did go and they raped and stuff like that. And it was Robert Golop, it was Pahor, it was Skutran. They complained to them that I just wouldn't do it, no matter what they try. I just wouldn't go out there, in other words, and rape a girl. I don't know, a school a girl that was with me in a class or whatever. You understand what the fuck you did? What kind of stuff this is? You talk to me about fucking pedophilia. Who met whom and how and underage and this and that. You're gonna fucking explain everything, including who created Epstein, when Epstein became certified as a pedophilia dealer, caterer for the high circle. And you scum, gonna explain to me how you were actually forced in 1986 to shift from your Aryan society into a broader mixture of the people that you would be congregating in, involving all kinds of politicians that from Eastern Europe that would start to arrive for your business. So this be part number 2. You're not gonna forget me, motherfuckers at FBI and CIA, will you? Now you probably understand why they suspended my blog. They didn't want any of that stuff. What do you think? Alright, drop me a comment over there. And you didn't subscribe yourself yet to this channel? Really? What have you been doing for the last 20 years anyways? That's exactly what you are watching it. And this video is the continuation of, let me demonstrate you what I titled earlier as yeah, they said that this is gonna bury everybody, that this is gonna bury entirely everything. Well, fuck you. I don't really care if you guys are gonna be buried. Fuck you all. Norwegian royal Epstein, Pedophilia connection facts, Crown Princess Mette, Marit, that kind of stuff about Norwegian royal Epstein, Pedophilia connection. This video is going to be titled about, like, let's say, how Epstein became a pedo dealer, Aryan brotherhood in that sense, you know. So I'm gonna pay you back the stuff that I owe you. You're gonna get it with the interest rates, guaranteed the best. And you also know now, eh? You know what I'm here for? I'm not your friend. The nice guy walked out of the door. You're never gonna see one again. Now you're gonna see what you did not want to see. Now you're gonna see what you feared. No, what you just hope you're gonna get rid of it by just killing me. This is now. Now you're gonna get everything that I owe you. Now you're gonna get with the interest rates. So just so that you remember, Norwegian royal circle was the epicenter of the pedophilia, and the biggest epicenter of the pedophilia was located in Canada. Canada was the number one. When it comes to the main epicenter of the British royals, which ran this kind of epicenter, pedophilia epicenters, this all goes to this goes through Winnipeg, I would say. That would be a good one. That kind of stuff. Oh man, we had all over. We had a Calgary. We had all this stuff, Edmonton and Vancouver. We had all this stuff. This was all pedophilia related stuff. But not pedophilia, also ladies stuff. But in this case, I took time to explain about the pedophilia related directly to the Norwegian family, and also who created the Pedophilia. You know, the Epstein was actually awkward. You know, the Epstein, he looked like awkward. He back in the day, he was not very elegant. This guy, he was not very elegant. I looked better than Epstein back in the day, fashion wise, and I was shit. I was no good. But the Epstein guy was like, you know, he was so nice, he was so polite, and he was timid. It was not like this, but he really liked it, and he keeps coming back. He kept coming back and became really obsessed with this stuff. You know, he really, really could not possibly steer away from it. And another thing is, Epstein was like a natural body back in the day. He was like, how can I say? He was actually looking. He was searching for a contact with me. He was so timid. He was more associated mentally with me, as I wasn't really, I don't know how you say, extrovert. I was not really out there to do that kind of stuff. I really needed to understand, and yeah, I was very careful with the things, you know, and he was just like learning from this shit. He would be associated around, and then when some opportunity, you know, some leftover, something would open for him, he would also get Epstein. This is the way it was. Bill Clinton, darling, he will explain to you every fucking thing, you see? And Bill Clinton said, not Bill Clinton, but they said over there at TSA, and they said from this 9/11 commission, and they say from the FBI and all that stuff, they said, if we wouldn't have a Bill Clinton, we would not know anything. So, with the Bill Clintons you had him, what the fuck did you know anything anyways? You motherfuckers, you scum. All of you. This was exclusively, I was told, who do you think that this is for? Who do you think that this is for? They told me this is exclusively for the gentleman from the Midwest. This is exclusively from the, Canada and, that kind of stuff. And it was Norge, Svenska, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, German, Dutch, British businessmen, politicians, that they would come for a visit to this club. Locations, special locations. You have to look at least like a Bill Clinton. You have to be, you gotta be Nordic in order for you to enter their club. Otherwise, no. It is simple as this. But, Epstein was extremely interested about what do you think? And really, man, sometimes in 6th grade and 7th grade and 8th grade of the grammar school, I was just taken over by this beauty of these females. The problem was, already before that, but the problem was, they started to train me. I don't even know what the fuck I said earlier. I want to be correct about this stuff. They were bringing me into this club inside, into these clubs, very early on, already like 1978. I would already find myself in this, seeing this strange as fuck thing. Beautiful men, beautiful ladies, and just a totally different ambient, like for a super high society class, basically very classy, like extremely classy. And so I didn't grasp. I didn't get what the fuck went on. I didn't even pay attention to this stuff. I didn't even pay attention to what they, what they had going on. I mean, in a sense, this is obvious, these beautiful ladies and stuff, and sure, but Epstein was just extremely interested in what my opinion was. Yeah, he just whenever he would come, this would be for him it would be the main thing, my opinion. What my opinion is. What my opinion is. And there was this women and shit, and yeah. I mean, everything was 10 out of 10. And for him, the main thing was to know what my opinion is. For fuck's sake, I did not deserve so much attention to. I was like in a 3rd grade of the grammar school. And very often I was laughed at. I was like in, I don't know, 79, or I don't know what the year was it. I don't know, 81, 80. And I didn't get this kind of attention in the school. I had unlimited number of fights. And this is a grown-up man that just wanted to know what my opinion is. He was always asking me on the recordings, you're going to find him, when I was a child, what my opinion is. What's your opinion? He would associate with me very nicely and wanted to know what's my opinion. As if my fucking opinion mattered. And in a process, he was actually in a process of becoming his own independent dealer, this pedophilia catering business that they hate so much, but it's an ultimate tool they have used all along. It was an ultimate political tool. And oh, you want to know about the Eastern Europeans? It's exactly what I stated. The Eastern Europeans popped up in this circle. Vladimir Putin, that kind of stuff, pop up in these circles already, like in 1986. This would be visits. They have Soviets. They have Soviet politicians. They have these Soviet attachés. Who the fuck knows? One of the things is also that, at least in front of me, these Russian politicians did not want to participate. It was also that kind of stuff. If they knew about what the fuck went on, I don't even know. Some of them learned about how I was into this, and they told me that I should be ashamed of it. It was this kind of stuff. We had this kind of stuff. I was reprimanded by the Russians, and in the 6th grade of this grammar school, 1984, bitched at, threatened. Holy shit. In a 4th grade of the grammar school, in 1982, reprimanded, bitched at, threatened, accused of being Nazi for seeing myself in these clubs, and this is the way this stuff was. And then with the Vladimir Putin, this became more and more and more a matter of 9/11, a matter of 1999 Moscow apartment building bombing business, Marta Vineyard, the stuff they removed away from my Außer Times blog. So I tell you what they never wanted you or attempted you to know is where I go. Okay? The stuff that they don't want, they did not want you to tell, but if you squeeze them, if you grab them by the throats, they will sing, is what you get here with me. That's the way this stuff was. Okay, so there is one thing I have not done, and basically I did not point out the stuff that I should have, because it's very important technicality wise. I did spoke here to you about few things. I want to video record one more time and you know, do this very, very punctual, all this witnessing. You're talking about 1999 and 1998 only, because Mette Marit engaged in emails which were not ethical emails. There was a big problem that Mette Marit had, and This is a reprimand for the FBI, who went on to alter the original Epstein files. Those emails were actually deleted, and those emails, they do not trace to 1996. Those emails trace all the way to since the people had ability to connect with the internet. It was very exclusive. The British, the Norwegian royals had that kind of technology that was not available yet to other people around the world. So in this case, when it comes to the email, the internet and that kind of stuff, I understand that this shit went on even all the way to way back in time. They started with the emails, I think, like in 1988 or something like that. At least this is what they brainwashed me with. So there is a whole lot of load of emails between also her and between the Epstein, which however does not trace as far as this back, but a possibility is somewhere all the way up to, I would even say, to maybe very, very long time. Okay, way before 96. 94, I really do not know. I am just appalled by this shit. Probably, I would even say that she had a contact with the Epstein 1990, stuff like this, that she started to fuck around. 92 for sure. So we're gonna categorize Mette Marit in a category of the Epstein. Why are those emails missing? Why did she said that there will be only emails beginning the 1998, and then she said it's going to be 99? So, you know, they were, royals are just picking up what they want, which part they want, and which is convenient and which is not convenient. They were so fucking tarded that they believed that stuff that was illegal, criminal, was still okay. And then they started to change their mind using other people that would give them a lesson that it's not, and just have FBI modify, delete that stuff. This is just bizarre. I mean, very, very bizarre. Now, when I go over this stuff, yes, pedophilia definitely was involved in it. The one who's going to explain to you about the pedophilia, you know, is the one that claimed that she claims that she is so hurt. That's going to be Mette Marit. Why? Because I already told you before, Mette Marit knew absolutely everything about the pedophilia. She knew everything about the pedophilia. Remember when I told you, please do not say this and that because I'm going to get in trouble and this and that. They had the call girls. They had a call girls, and it was a prostitution. Deeply underage. I assume 12 years old, 13, 14 years old girls. Well, there's several girls that would come, and she just happened to find herself in that circle. She claimed that she was older, but holy shit, in 1985 and in 1986 and in 1987, how old could she possibly be? In 1986, I was 14. She's 2 years younger than myself. So that also does not add up together. And she did not want to be absolutely anywhere on the picture. She claimed that it was first time that I would destroy her, that it was the first time that she appeared, for fuck's sake, that it was in, I think like in 1989, that anything else that I would say that I would destroy her. You fucking destroyed yourself, scum. You destroyed yourself. You destroyed yourself. You went where you thought that you're just going to use FBI and CIA and police and everything is just going to be fine through the U.S. Supreme Court and this and that, and it's just going to be like this. And I'm being without the fucking pay, without absolutely anything to live for. Since 2006, you kept me jobless, basically. In between, you threw me into psychiatric hospital beginning 2012. You did this twice. And I keep going, without any kind of income, stealing the money from online, from absolutely everything, not allowing to work, not allowing any kind of income. Absolutely nothing other than psychiatry, no fucking way any kind of social support or anything. And I keep fucking going, and I keep doing my stuff. Look, and today is 2026, and I'm still here doing it 20 years later. And I'm doing it absolutely for free. No, it's not for free. I actually pay for you to watch this shit. You did this stuff because you wanted to kill me. And the truth is here. The truth is available. I'm here testifying what FBI, CIA doesn't even want you to think about. It's possible. Yeah, they cannot deny any of this stuff. These are facts. Everything is a fact here stated in this video. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So this stuff, I just wanted to clarify this stuff. This is not even properly written here. The stuff. So this is the way it is. This kind of stuff here. Crown Princess Mette Marit of Norway started to meet and date the Norwegian Haakon sometimes in 1989. The two started to regularly date one another, but the two met already before. He was supposedly a very good boy, and into the books, this is how they brainwash me to see things as. But I did already explain to you how that looks like, right? What you can do to a human being. How you can, like, program one to see whatever the fuck you want. And then that kind of stuff I explained to you all. Yeah? So, that will do for me. The witnessing original from out of my mouth. This is an upgrade of the text that you see. Is what I told you on the video. I wanted to be really, really specific. This be part number 2 of a beautiful video for which I published you how this stuff was based out of Bahamas, that kind of stuff that is available for you to see here on 4 different streaming platforms. Now this is going to be the upgrade version of the this is how Epstein was created. This is who created the Epstein, and a poor man. And he ended also quite a little bit mad. Oh, I think he's still alive, but he was just so miserable because he did not become a trillionaire, you know. He so badly wanted to be Elon Musk. He just wanted to have everything, and it just didn't turn out to be that way. And then in the end, even the fucking guy that he hated the most, that's me, myself, you know, look what I pulled out. And it's actually thanks to Epstein. He actually was the one who did this. Yeah, no. He was just angry. I don't know why he was so angry. I liked him in many ways. But he was really evil. He was really, really evil. What I described in the part number 1, he claimed that I was the most evil person in the world and that he's doing it for me. And in fact, he was just doing a catering service for the royals, for the royale and so on. So, it's nice to know that Mette Marit is still around with this incredible disease that she has, that she can die at any moment. Kind of reminds me of so many other MK Ultra prospects involved in it, including Donald Trump. They all suffer at any moment. Yeah, I can die. And you have Prince Charles, now King Charles, also at any moment. And you have disgraced, they say, he is disgraced, Prince Andrew, and so on. There's so many of them that they just hanging in there right on the brink. But I'm really dealing with the cancer and with several other issues that none of these people possibly could last really, I'm going to say thanks for watching this video. In 1987 it was, when Vladimir Putin also that threatened me personally for attending. It was Borut Pahor was the one who was informing all the time about everything that went on overseas with me, for attending this Aryan parties, for attending this Aryan 1987, no. 6th grade of the grammar school is, sorry, this is in 1984, that I will get killed. They claim me that whoever, they will find out who attended this type of, this is illegal, it's not allowed to attend Aryans mingle with one another. The year was 1984. That was a Vladimir Putin at recommendation of the Slovenian Borut Pahor. And they guarantee me that. This is what they were good, these Aryans, but basically setting me up all the fucking time. In part number 1, I mentioned to you how they addressed me in 2019 and 2020 as the king. Try to convince me to keep my mouth shut, everything about the stuff that went on, how it's in my best interest to keep my mouth shut, and that Donald Trump is basically going to do work for me and thanked me for everything that they have in the USA as far as politics, especially Mid-East politics, for which they demanded me to keep my mouth shut. That's what I did in part number 1 in the video that I demonstrated you earlier, that I published. Do you know how it all ended with these motherfuckers from the US Justice Supreme Court? Judges, Donald Trump, Pig Hexet, J.D. Vance. Do you know how the fuck it ended? It ended up coming here to Slovenia and talking in front of me to the Slovenian side about how they don't even know what they have. They claim that everything America has, and it's true, really, espionage-wise and all these things, it was thanks to me, through me, and even inside of this house. Exposing me basically to what they consider as an enemy. Gesturing, I'm going to repeat to you, they don't even know what they have. If they only knew, that's like pointing like to Iran, to you know, the Middle East, Russians and etc., Serbs. They don't even know what they have. Oh yes, they fucking know who the fuck I am. But they incited basically in bad things against me. They said, it was meant like if they knew what they have, they would get rid of you and so on in that sense. You just be there and be quiet and leave us, boy, to finish the job for you. This was the message of the U.S. Justice Supreme Court and Donald Trump personally. Referred to me like I was a god, like, you know, king, you know. We don't recognize such things, any royalties here in the U.S. This is a republic, but in your case, we would be even willing to void that. Maybe only for the duration of as long as this MK Ultra stuff went on to you for so many years that we would give you this type of title to pay you back and so on. This is how filthy, how low this U.S. Supreme Court, you know, they, in other words, they always build karma, bad karma, based on which what they consider as an enemy then view you. It's not good stuff. They always do some filthy, nasty shit, and whatever they do, they always do it so that you find yourself in a lot of trouble that easily can even cost your life, just as I explained in this pedo video. I couldn't do better than what I did, man. This is surely state of the art. All the stuff that I did is just incredible. The way I explain all this is just, you know, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I can say that I was a pioneer of the Epstein club. Yeah, what the fuck you think that they were bringing me to this Aryan Brotherhood elite? And why was the Epstein asking me about what I think when I was in the fucking third grade of the grammar school, like in 1980, 1981? What I think about the girls, the beautiful girls and ladies, and what do you think? And the British royals were doing that stuff. British royals, this was a friend of the British royals directly, like direct from Charles, like Charles would go directly for Epstein. What do you think? Who the hell started that Epstein club other than, as I explained? This is how we got Russians visit. This is how we got the espionage through the Eastern Europe, through the Russia and everything going. What do you think this was? This is what this is. And this is what they did with me. Eh? You do the stuff like this with the guys like me. It's insane. It's a paranoid schizophrenic. That's what you wrote on the psychiatric certificate. Huh? You did this. You did like this. This is to be or not to be. This is what you will be charged with. That's a death sentence for every one of you.